Hi everyone. I am dolled up today. Usually my vlogs don't involve flat ironing my hair, wearing nice dry clean shirts, and makeup, but today it does. So back in 2021 in December, I did a vlog about the airing of my grievances, like Festivus for the rest of us. Yeah. So I listed all the horrible things that come along with having a breast cancer diagnosis or any cancer diagnosis or anything bad for that matter in your life. At the time, I was planning on then doing a positive one when it came to be January, because it's like new year, new you, and all that other kitschy kind of stuff. And I never did it because I wasn't in a place to think well, in December, it was August, September, October, November, December, 4 months after my double mastectomy. And I wasn't really in a space to say, oh, here's all the gifts that cancer gave to me. Well, people say that, that's awesome. No matter what, even if there are some perks to where I am in my life now compared to where I was before, I will never say that cancer was a gift, because who the fuck wants to have it in the first place? So, brings me to today, which is we're shortly before Christmas. Thus my budding Christmas card display behind me of 2023. So I'm probably not going to be super dressed up between now and New Year's of 2024. So you get it a little bit early, but you're not even going to know the difference by the time you watch this. So this is my non-airing of grievances. This is not like, oh, here's all the presents I got from a cancer diagnosis. No, this is my, what are the positive things in my life now, or the positive things, I guess, that have happened since that fateful day on July 9th of 2021 when the doctor called with not such great news. So here it goes. I'm not going to list them all out. It's just going to be like me chatting as usual. So the first thing I'll say is that you get to really create. And maybe that's even getting a step ahead. Let me rewind. Before you create, because that's where I am right now, once you have your diagnosis and the world's thrown at you, you don't know what stage you are, you don't know how far the cancer is spread, you don't know if you're going to be here after surgery's done. And it's a really scary time. And when that happens, you almost get this get out of jail free card that for me, I was I can do whatever the hell I want. And I know this sounds morbid, but just go with me, because obviously I'm still here, and my cancer's gone. But you get this get out of jail free card that you can not necessarily say what you want, but do things that you wouldn't normally do, or act ways that you wouldn't normally act. And you're whatever, what are you gonna do? I might not even be here a month from now, so what does it all really matter? It makes the world look a lot smaller than it actually is. And in the same way, and this also I guess sounds kind of morbid, is that God forbid that someone were to pass. This sounds so dark, but again, there's a weird freedom behind it. That you think, well, if I don't make it after surgery and I'm not here anymore, life will still go on. I know that sounds dark as I'm saying it out loud, but there's almost a pressure taken off of you for all the things that you think you have to do. Especially for people who like to volunteer and give up their time to other people and other things. All of a sudden your time takes on a very different way. Someone will ask you to do something and you just say no, because you got enough shit going on your plate. And it's do I want to spend my time doing that? In that limbo period where you don't know really what's going on. You had the diagnosis, but there's not enough information to know, well, what's going to happen after that? And then you think, well, what happens if I'm not here a month from now? When I was diagnosed, they only gave me 2 weeks before I had to have my surgery done. And it turned out to be closer to a month. But in that time, I'm I had to put all my stuff together. And I'm you know what? If I'm not here in a month, anymore, then like, what does it matter if I do this or if I do this or whatever? I'm not talking like big things. I don't mean like, go rip off a bank or something. I just mean like when people ask like, oh, can you do this for me? Or, people just take certain things for granted and you're like, no, because your time becomes so precious. And I feel like that's the biggest thing, the biggest gift. Your time becomes so precious. Every day really does matter. That it is all about you. And for me, like, I would volunteer a lot. I would give up my time for certain things. And it's not like I don't do that now. I'm just very deliberate as to, there's 24 hours in a day. Do I want to give of my time and energy to this? And I don't really, again, sort of gift, is I don't do things out of obligation like I used to. Well, I'm supposed to do this because I'm this kind of person, so I'll go do that, even if I'm exhausted. I don't feel that way anymore. And it's funny because I remember an ex-boyfriend of mine told me, when I was doing all the landmark work, there was a thing where you ask people like, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses and stuff? Oh, there you go. Look at that. I got a new message from somebody on Bumble. I just like went on online dating today for the first time in like eons, trying to create my new life. But John's going to need to wait because I'm talking to you right now. See, these are choices that I'm making. And now he distracted me from what I was saying. Crap. Choosing. I'll come back to it. My head's like all over the place. Choosing what you want to do with your time. Things that people would ask me to do, and I would the ex-boyfriend thing. There we go. It comes back. I did the landmark work, and there was a part of one of my courses where you had to have an interview with someone about you to help learn about you and how other people perceive you. And there was like 5 questions or something. One was what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What can you rely on me for? What can't you rely on me for? And there was a 5th one that I'm not remembering now. But what kept coming up for me as to one of my weaknesses is that I prioritize other people before I prioritize myself. And while that's great for like me giving to people or things or organizations that I feel deeply about, what I learned was that sometimes I do that at the expense of myself, at the expense of my time, at the expense of how I'm feeling, at the expense of my health or sanity or happiness. And I could see that that's totally true. And there was like this guilt thing where like, well, I have to do this because I have to do this, blah, blah, blah. No. So the gift, I hate to call it that, but the gift is the gift of saying no. And for you people pleasers out there, it's very hard to say no. But it's the gift of saying no. It's the gift of knowing that like, this is your time. You don't know how many days you have left, regardless of the cancer thing. You don't know how many days you have left. This is awful, but like they say, you can get hit by a bus tomorrow. And then like things are just done. So like, why am I tiptoeing around? Why am I making myself tired? Why am I using resources that I don't have in myself in order to benefit somebody else? It's not a matter of becoming selfish. It's a matter of becoming more compassionate with yourself and self-caring. Selfish makes it seem like you're like it's a negative thing. Self-caring obviously is not. And I feel like I spent so much time focusing on other people before all this stuff happened. And now it was like, although it sucked, and that's not the way I wanted to learn this, like that was my way of like, no, it's my turn right now. Like things need to be about me. Unfortunately, this is the reason why they're about me, but things need to be about me right now. Like, I don't care if you have whatever drama going on right now, because like, here is what's going on with me. And at the time, it's like, this is life or death. Like, we're not fucking around here. So yeah, that ability to say no to things, and especially to start creating boundaries. That's part of the creating part, which I'll get to. But I remember like little stupid things like like I'd be in the grocery, this is a weird thing. So I'd be in the grocery store, and I do this even now. After everything happened and my head's like kind of in a fog, I would be in the grocery store, and like I'd hear like the music playing, whatever, and because I'm like 52, well I was 49 at the time, I'd hear music, and the music is like 80s songs or whatever, and I'd start like humming along to them. Old me would have, like, if somebody came, walking the other direction, would just like stop humming to myself. New me is like, I don't really give a shit if I hum in front of somebody else. If I like the song, why not hum to it? So I would just continue my friggin' humming. And that's something that I wouldn't do before. Oh my gosh, like Bumble is going crazy right now. It's the good energy that I'm letting out. Maybe I should be optimistic more frequently. You get one day of this. I don't know how long this is going to last, but like, whatever, I'll take it for what it is. Yeah, you just look at things very differently about the time that you have and the decisions that you're making, who you're choosing to spend your time with and who you're not choosing to spend your time with. So I guess I'll move on to the creating part, because I don't want to be on here for an hour. So the creating part. Now that things have settled down, meaning like I had 2 surgeries, I feel like I'm going to have a 3rd surgery. When I went in for, I think I did a vlog on this, I can't remember. When I went in for my, when I went in for my appointment with my new oncologist, she did a breast exam on the sides. I know I didn't talk about this. On the sides here, like she felt around here quite a lot. And she said to me that I had like a lot of excess skin here that I could have like taken care of, which just is like, that means go to plastics, get that taken care of. So by surgery, I don't mean like some big whole full-blown surgery. I just mean like cleaning up stuff on the sides, which I guess would then shape my boobs better than they are, even though they look fine now. I did have lipo done on my sides when I had my reconstruction revision done, the left side. I don't know why I'm talking about sciencey stuff right now, but whatever. Yeah, I don't even know why. I guess I should go back to that as a gift thing with the doctors and choosing who you're going to go see. But she made some comment or whatever that I can get this, surgeries, that I can get this like taken care of and reshaped. But it's not, I would think it's not like a super major surgery. Liposuction is not the glamorous thing that you think it is. It's actually extraordinarily painful. Your skin turns black and hard after it's done. And, or not done, but like as you're healing from the whole thing, it is not a walk in the park. Weirdly, I still have 2 small scars from where they stick the things in to go like, to get all the fat and stuff out. And I don't think this is really fat. I think it literally is just like extra skin that's here that just needs to go like, and pushed in. So creating, let's talk about creating. And on the subject of doctors. So doctors, nail technicians, hairstylists, all the people that you hire to do stuff for you. And sometimes you don't think of it as you hiring them because like they're your doctor, but you're choosing who your doctor is. So recently I went for a second opinion, even though yes, it's so much later. I went for a second opinion with a different oncologist and I liked her. I wasn't really vibing with my first oncologist, but like when everything was, hitting the fan, there's really no time to go shopping around for doctors. Like you just have who you have. And she's, I don't diss her as a doctor. I mean, I think obviously my cancer is gone and the side effects for the treatments, like, I don't even want to spend too much time talking about that because that's not a positive thing. And this is supposed to be a positive vlog. But I had the, opportunity to meet with a different oncologist and talk to her and make the decision for myself that I wanted her on my team. In the past, I would think of doctors like, they're the ones who know all the stuff, so I have to kiss their asses. When in reality, there are a lot of doctors out there and you're the patient. That means that you're the one who's technically hiring them since you're paying them for a service for you. And that service is you and your health and your body. So, so I hired a new oncologist and I turned that differently because I look at it that, yes, they know what they're talking about more so than I do, but at the end of the day, I'm the one who's choosing them to decide like who's going to be on Team Jen in my life, like who's going to be on Team Jen. And like, even when it comes to small stuff, like I used to go to the same person to get my hair cut for years. And then I felt like guilty going to somebody different. It was only just because of the pandemic that I switched. But you have to get that, like, you don't have to do stuff out of obligation. I adore my old hairdresser. I should go back to her. But anyway, you don't have to do stuff out of obligation or just because like, well, that's just the way it was always done, or that's the person that I've always been seeing, or that's, you know, that's just the way it is. Like, no, it is your life. You have one life. The gift that a cancer diagnosis gives you is, what do you want that life to look like? Maybe there's a reason why I got cancer when I was almost 50. Because when you hit 50, it's obviously a huge milestone. You're half a century, and I consider that to be more midlife-y than turning 40 is. When I turned 40, I still felt very youthful, and like 40 is the new 20 or whatever. Or not 20, maybe 30. But when I turned 50, like, I was going through cancer shit, and I was feeling 50. And with turning 50 also comes, again, a reframing of what do you want the second half of your life to look like. And you get to choose. You get to choose who's in it, how you're going to lead it, where are you going to live, what are you going to do, what's your wardrobe going to look like, what's your hair going to look like. All those things you get to choose. And they're also fluid because they could change. So let's start with jobs, because I just put like bullet notes before I started, before I hit record. So jobs, yeah, you could be happy with your job. That's great. I just saw a thing on Instagram today that Martha Stewart, granted she was in prison, but whatever. Martha Stewart started her little empire when she was 50. She didn't start her company till she was 50. And granted, she was in prison, but now you look at where she is and that she is a successful person. There are a lot of people that don't necessarily start their big thing until later in life. So you can't say, well, I'm in this job, I've been doing this job forever, and I must do this job always forever. No. I was a teacher for a very, very long time. That's pretty much like all I knew. That's what my degrees are in. I'm certified in 2 states in teaching. Is teaching my calling right now? I don't really think so. I think that there's something else there. Before the whole cancer thing happened, I had started a talk show. It was doing very well. It won Best Profile Talk Show in the Northeast in our budget category. In 2018, I think it was, 2019. I got the award during the pandemic. Unfortunately, I didn't get the bells and whistles of walking up to the stage and accepting my award and stuff because it was, you know, virtual. And I have this awesome award that I beat out stations that were in, or shows that were produced in New York and stuff. So I was very excited about that. You get to create. I was on that trajectory back then. I'm not there right now. I used to be a very people-y person. Right now, not so much. I'm actually enjoying right now taking classes about accounting, which I know that sounds weird. Why would you enjoy that? Not full-blown accounting, but like bookkeeping and stuff. So that's a switch for me. When my whole life has been about, I mean, granted I taught math, but my certification is also in elementary, and most of my time I feel like was spent focused on elementary. All of my teaching time was all in middle school. But you get to create. Is that still what you want to do? What direction do you want to go in? In theory, the world is my oyster. It's like kind of like graduating high school in a weird way, that like you can do whatever you want. You can go back to school if you want. I mean, yes, there's a money aspect, but you get to choose. You get to choose like what the things are that are going to put your life together in a way that's going to make you happy. Is it going to happen overnight? No. My place is decorated for the holidays, so my favorite rock is far from me. but my rock that I've shown before that says, be patient with yourself as you evolve. I have that kindness rock in front of me all the time because I know that I'm evolving and I have to be patient because it's taking longer than like how fast I usually go with things. I'll lighten things up and talk about clothes because I have friends and family next, but I'll talk about clothes now while I'm not crying and have clothes on. Obviously, I'm wearing black today. Why do I say that you get to choose your clothes? If you've been a loyal watcher, you know that my apartment was flooded out almost a year ago at this point. So I lost pretty much all of my stuff. This shirt, actually, as I say this, is one of the very few shirts that A, still fits me, and B, I'm okay wearing without a bra. You wouldn't wear this with a bra anyway, just because of the way it is. I would show you a head to toe, but that's just weird. I don't feel like getting up. So yeah, I got this top when I had my fitting at Revel in Winchester, if you're local. Actually, my pants are from Revel too. They are elastic. They have an elastic waistband and it's freaking awesome. They're high-waisted. They're super, super comfy. They stretch on and off. My weight, I'm not even going to go there, but the point is after I had my surgery and stuff, my body looked very different and I put on a ton of weight. While that was in my grievance section, what I'll say in my positivity vlog for today is that I graduated PT today. Yay, yay, yay. I am going to be, next to PT, there's like a gym. I mean, I have a gym in my apartment, but they have trainers and stuff there. And you can sign on for a program as like the next step after PT. And I know that was an option when I had PT. I was in PT for a year after my surgery. And that was mostly just to be functional again. This time I was in PT because I threw my back out, which is partly related to the fact that my abs are just like crap. And I did mention in my vlog how I weighed in at an alarming high number when I went to get my last bone density exam. Or no, when I went to the oncologist, I think was when I weighed, I don't know. I went to see some doctor and weighed in and I was like, holy shit. But having said that too, my stomach is, I can see the results from the work that I'm doing at PT. I'm doing a lot of ab work to strengthen my core so that I can support then my back. And I'm starting to see like the parts of my abs that make me not look like I'm 6 months pregnant, which is awesome. So look at that all the time. No, if I like right now, my stomach, I'm sure does not look like that whatsoever just because it's late in the day. But I see the progress that I've made in the physical therapy I've done the past few months. So I made the commitment to join a 6-month program and continue with it and continue going to the gym. I totally own up that like my accountability, if you're not like calling me every day to be like, Jen, let's go up and go to the gym or whatever, I'm just not going to do it. Not because I'm stubborn, just because I'm not. I have not been prioritizing that in my life. I have to like sign up for stuff where other people are there, or else I just know me. Like I'm not going to do it. Not when it comes to exercise, at least. So I signed up for that for 6 months. So yeah, I'm paying for it, so I can't. I'm not going to not go. So I'm happy that I'm prioritizing my health. That like, yes, it's extra money that I'm spending, but when I look at how much money I spend on like medical bills when I don't take care of myself, I don't mean the cancer thing so much. I just mean like, you know, if I've been doing, you know, bridges, 100 bridges a day or something, maybe my back wouldn't have been thrown out. But now I'm being on the proactive part that like, I want to continue the progress that I'm making. So I'm going to continue doing that. My PT told me, you know, muscle weighs more than fat. So it could be that you just like are starting to gain muscle from all the work that we've been doing the past 3 months. And that's why you've gained weight. Sure, that might be the case. It also might not. But I'm choosing to do that for my body. I'm hot, flashing hard because it's like late in the day. That's the water. But the clothes, also it's the get out of jail free card where like maybe like much younger Jen would have no problem wearing a shirt. I don't know if you could tell like how low cut this is. If I go like this, I'll get like 75,000 YouTube views for the guys that go on there and type in breast in their YouTube search and don't realize that breast could also have a word after the word breast, and you'll get to a video that was not what you were intending on seeing. But anyway, because yeah, one of my vlogs has 75,000 views, and I know there are people that are watching it because of what it's intended for, but I feel like a lot of them are seeing it or coming across it because of not what it's intended for. But yeah, when I was like younger, like even 40, I would wear low cut things and not think anything of it. After my surgeries and stuff, no. Even if you can see right now, like when I pull, well, now it looks totally symmetrical, but my right side was like bunching up a little bit differently than my left side was. So I kept having to like tug down so it would be like perfect. And I used to be much more like, I'd look down and be like, oh, my shirt needs to be like shifted over because my boobs aren't perfectly symmetric, though I guess no boobs are perfectly symmetric. And I don't mind like walking around like this and wearing a shirt that's that low cut. The gift again, I don't have to wear a bra. I don't have to wear a bra. My boobs obviously having implants are much higher than like my former boobs were. So, yeah, these are up here. And while there are cons, which I've gone through several times about the implants and stuff, it's weird because I'm having some issues with my right side now, but I can't stay on that because I'm talking about positivity here. But yeah, I can wear a top like this. Like if you look up here, like this is where you wouldn't be able to wear a bra because it's like, it's all open in the back, see? So you wouldn't be able to wear a regular bra with it. And like, if I didn't have cancer, what would I wear? Pasties or something? That's annoying. I don't have to wear those. And because it's a black shirt, you won't see my scars or anything. So here I am. I go out in a shirt like this, no bra. I don't have to worry about like, you know, anything looking... Shit. I just dropped my cookie container on the floor and there's crumbs all over the floor now. I'll clean it later. But see how all this is all open and stuff? Like, I don't have to worry about wearing a bra because I don't need one since I have the implants. So there's that. Yeah. So my body, like I said, I graduated out of PT. I'm focusing the time on the gym. I did sign up for Zumba again too, so I will get my cardio in. Baby steps. Took me a very, very long time to get there because parts of my body just weren't ready to do stuff. And I wrote no nips. I'm not ready to have my nipples tattooed on yet. Mostly because of me just feeling like I'm going to need to have another surgery done. Like, yes, I'll have the sides done, but I need these to settle a little bit more before I have the nipples tattooed on. But you have a very different relationship with your body after all this. And I've had, Lord knows, I've had my time for body shaming. I'm still in that place, but I'm not focusing on the negative today. The positive thing with my body is that while I do get into those places of body shaming pretty hard, I also have never been as compassionate with myself, like I was saying earlier. And at times forgiving with myself about how I am with myself about my body. I am not thrilled with how my body looks right now. Most of that's because of the weight gain. And I get that a lot of that is not under my control. I am on these medications that slow down my metabolism. And it's not just one pill, it's many pills that slow down my metabolism. So I could eat like salad every day. Well, I have no energy, but like I wouldn't necessarily lose weight because of that. So I look at my body and I think of it like, damn, like you've been through a lot. And if I want to have cookies, even though the crumbs are all over the floor right now, it's a little funny. Like it's okay, I'll have a cookie. Yeah, I at nighttime when I look like I'm 6 months pregnant, it sucks. It feels weird. and I'm more used to it now. And I'm not so hard on myself about it. Because if you join breast cancer support groups, you'll get that like there's so many other women who are in the same boat, who have gained 20, 30 pounds because of medication. And the nice thing about the new oncologist was she said something like, when I told her that I lost all my clothes or they all shrunk or whatever I told her from the flood, she's like, well, you know, make sure you don't get rid of them because like your body will change. And I'm like, I'm going to go back to like what my old size was. Like, that's the first time anyone's ever said that to me. Like, don't get rid of your old stuff. Like, I got rid of my stuff. I mean, there's a bigger story to that, but I just assumed that nothing would fit ever again. So why hold on to them? And she just gave me this glimmer of hope that like, you know, I don't know, maybe when you switch from tamoxifen to an aromatase inhibitor, it changes. I don't really know what it is, but I don't have it in my head that I'm going to go back to weighing what I weighed before. And she kind of implied that like, well, what was your base weight? And okay, let's like keep that in mind. And even when I was at PT talking to the people at the gym that were there, they were talking about like my baseline weight. And I'm like, you know, my baseline before all the crazy happened, not like what I weighed when I was like 20, but that number is still something that's attainable without like, you know, living in a normal way and not like starving myself to be able to be that weight. Cause I just wouldn't do that. Yeah. And then there's the, speaking of body, there's hair. So, I did not need chemo. What I find interesting about my hair is I've had a lot of comments about my hair lately. I had my roots done. I have had my hair darker, but even though my actual like hair color is close to this color, but I guess I had highlights in there before that lightened it up a little bit. And when she was doing the highlight or my roots, she's like, you know, well, we'll just pull it through your whole hair. I'm like, okay, whatever. I didn't think twice about it. And then all these people are like, I love your darker color. I'm like, what darker color? I didn't even know, because like if my hair's back a lot, so if it's like that, I don't notice it as much. But when you look at it from the back, like it's pretty dark. And as I'm looking here, it almost looks just like the same color as my shirt. And then I'm like, well, I'm 52. Should I be having hair that's this dark? Because like, is that natural looking? Like, I don't want to look like, you know, my hair is like plastered or tarred onto my face that people are like, why does she have hair so dark when we really know that she's like 52 years old or whatever? Does it look really stupid? I don't know. I don't think it looks stupid. And then the thing is like, how much do I care? What do I care what other people think about my hair color? If you don't like my hair, then don't look at it. I don't know what to tell you. Is it the most practical of colors when you have grays? No. But right now I can't see my grays, so I don't really care. But I've had like all these compliments about my hair, having my hair longer, and I think darker helps to not focus so much on here, because this is like where I carry my facial weight is in here. But yeah, so like my hair, and then I got my helix pierced, which I can't say I had always wanted to do, but after I started the Lupron, I definitely wanted to do it, and I did. Right now I just have a stud in here, or whatever you call that. But I'm glad that I did that. And right, yes, I don't have my tattoo on my wrist yet, but that's the next thing on my bucket list, that I will be getting my tattoo on my right wrist. Even though I had 6 lymph nodes removed from my right side, I specifically asked my breast surgeon before she left, because she moved to Texas, and I said to her, everyone's telling me don't touch the right side, can't take your blood pressure on your right side, can't do this on the right side. And I'm like, I want her to get a tattoo. And she's like, you can get a tattoo on your right side. So she's the one who did the surgery, and she's telling me I can get it on my right side. I'm going to freaking get it on my right side. So, Which brings me to attitude. Should I talk about friends or family first, or attitude? I'll talk about friends and family first. Let me talk about family first. Family, there's expectation. Obviously, you can go back to the sadness that I had with the expectation of my family coming to the rescue, and that just didn't happen for me. And by family, I'm not including my 2 kids, which I know sounds stupid, but when I think of family, I think like mom, dad, aunt, uncle, cousin, brother, whatever. You have these expectations of people and what they're going to do for you, and then you get disappointed when they don't live up to those expectations. And what I'm switching around here, and I guess it's very appropriate that I have my Christmas cards behind me, is who are the people in my family that actually did stand up for me and who were around? And why am I focusing my energy so much on the people that weren't around? And that those thoughts just bring me down to a not good place. When I think of like I have an aunt, for example, who lives in Florida part-time. She's like a snowbird, and she's been there. She, I think, is the only person in my family who actually like reached out without me bringing up anything and called and said like, how are you doing? And I'm like, that really matters to me. And maybe I should start like harping on all the people that aren't there and focus on the fact that, you know what, she reaches out. And I really like, that means so much to me. And if you're watching, it truly does mean so much to me that like you're there and you care and you take the time. And I feel like, even though she's technically my like second cousin once removed or whatever the heck it is, focusing on those family members that are there, that's what matters. That's what really matters. And if you're around family that's just like not working for you, not a healthy relationship, toxicity, negativity, don't feel obligated that you have to like spend time around that because they're your family. If you're around someone who's toxic, no matter who they are, I feel like you shouldn't spend any of your time around that person, because why would you do that to yourself? And the same aspect when it comes to friends. I have done vlogs about all the people that didn't step up to help me when shit hit the fan. When after I had my diagnosis and I knew I had to have the surgery done, like I had no idea. Like I knew it was a big surgery when they told me it would be 6.5 hours, because that's like a long freaking surgery. But I didn't realize that I wasn't going to have use of my arms the way I didn't. Like I didn't know that was a thing. How would you know that? I don't know. I just figured like it's just surgery and you recover like every other kind of surgery. I didn't realize the limitations that you can't like move your arms above here, and you can't like push up with your arms, and you can't open a jar of stuff. And I focused so much in my other vlogs of like, circles of all the friends that leave and like the people that just can't handle what you're going through, or maybe it makes them too sad or whatever it is. But the point is they're not there, and you need people to be there. And my flip side is the focusing on the people that are there. I have a quilt that my friend made for me, and I think I've mentioned it before. It's under my laundry right now, but I showed it in my last vlog. She made a quilt for me, and she asked friends of mine to trace their handprints, and she took the handprints and she used that as part of the quilt. So when you flip the quilt over from the non-patterned side, you see all these people's handprints. And when I put the quilt on me, and I'm not a big quilt person, by the way, but it's not like a typical kind of quilt. She like matched my colors in my living room, and it's a perfect size, and it's just like the colors are perfect, and it's just warm, cozy. But when I see all those hands, I feel like they're hugging me when I have the quilt on. And to have someone take the time like that, to have that kind of creativity, and to make it into this object that when you put it on you, it just feels like you're gotten. Like you're getting these hugs even though people aren't actually there. The positivity of, I think, when I had my surgery, and 8 days later, I think it was, my apartment flooded. And the directions I was given when I came in my apartment, and I see water pouring down all over my room. And they said, just take what's important and you need to get out, because they were worried that the ceiling was going to cave in. And I took my laptop, my meds, and my surgical bras, because I was only 8 days out of surgery. And that's all I took. I think I had my purse on me, but that's all I took. And I put a message out there, and I said, like, I need help now. My stuff is getting destroyed. I'm watching it getting like soaked with water. There was water pouring down the vents in my ceiling, all over my stuff. And I don't remember exactly the timestamp, but within probably a half an hour, my apartment was packed full of people that were helping calm me down because I was having a really bad panic attack, and moving my stuff and bringing it to like where it was dry, and helping to itemize things for the insurance, and realizing I didn't have a place to stay because I couldn't stay there. It wasn't safe to stay there. And I'm like, I don't know where to go. I don't have family here. Where am I supposed to go? And my closest friend has cats, can't go there because allergies. A lot of people have cats. And I didn't know how long I'd be gone for. And I hear them all talking to each other about figuring out who's going to take me in because of like not having pets. And I'm so grateful that all those people came to save my stuff and to help me. I mean, going through your entire like home to separate out and mostly get rid of stuff that's been ruined is hard. It's really hard. And I've never felt the love and support from people ever, I think, really, since then. I will always have immense gratitude for my friend who stayed with me after both my surgeries. She stepped up. She stepped up. We work well together. And I never thought that like I would be, like our friendship would be turning into that. You know, it's a very, very vulnerable place to be after surgery. I'm single, in case you're wondering where was your husband? Ex-husband, not around. But the friends that were there, my friends that would call and be like, hey, I made some extra food. Do you want soup? Do you want muffins? Do you want this? And I'm like, yes, yes, and yes. People from church that came and brought food. One woman would go to the food pantry every week and she'd bring me stuff. Because grocery shopping, I couldn't carry bags. I couldn't walk them up my 3 or 2 flights. I lived on the 3rd floor before and I couldn't carry them up the stairs. I mean, monetary things obviously were always appreciated. It was the people doing the legwork. And a lot of times, those weren't the people that I initially would have expected to do stuff. My one friend came to my apartment and she's like, what do you need? And I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even know where to start. I haven't done this before. I don't know what I need. And she went into business and she's like, okay, here's what we do. We get meals going, figure out groceries, how to get to your appointments. She plowed all of that out. For the first time in a while, these are actually tears of joy and gratitude. Because as much as there are people that it really hurt that they disappeared, there are these other people that just were there in ways I'm so grateful for. My other friend who anchored the news with me for a long time. Again, we work well together, and she's like, what I thought, because my head was just spinning, and I'm like, I can't even think straight about anything. And she knows how smart and on the ball I usually am. And she's like, whenever you have a thought, she's like, just text me. And she put it all down in this Word doc. I mean, all the things I had to do and all the things I had to remember. And one of my friends that I met through Landmark, I think this is actually when I had COVID, and I had cancer too. I just didn't know I had cancer. I knew I had COVID, but I didn't know I had cancer. And I remember being prescribed a whole bunch of pills, and um, I couldn't like keep track to remember like when am I supposed to take what, who am I supposed to call, when am I supposed to do this? This is after my kidney stone. It wasn't even like the cancer thing hadn't even happened at that point. And I said texting wasn't working, so she called me, which not enough people do these days, but she called me, and she wrote everything down and just helped me get organized with like, I just like spit stuff out, and then she gave me like a list of like, okay, now here's what you have to do, here's the times that you have to do them. um I think it was like, it was gross, but I think it was when I had to do my 24-hour urine samples after I had the kidney stone. And I couldn't, because my brain fog was so bad at the time because I had cancer, I didn't know it. Um, but there's very specific directions that you have to follow, or else like this, the test is like pointless. And she helped put all that together for me because I just couldn't do it. And yeah, that was someone that I knew from Landmark, and it's not even like when we did our courses together in Landmark, it's not even like she was the one that I hung out with most of the time or anything. That wasn't the case, but she was there. It's crazy. So it's easy to get stuck in the negative stuff. It's easy to focus on the negative stuff. And I do my gratitude journals, but I'm just not keeping up with it like I should. And I need to continue with that because that's what keeps my head in a positive space. So the last thing I'll talk about is attitude. Outlook, I guess, maybe be a better word. My attitude about myself and about life, I guess. About life, I would say that like things that you think are like so important and that really matter, you realize like how much doesn't really matter. And the grand scheme of like life and how precious life is, it's like this thing that you're complaining about doesn't really matter. Like your priorities are totally different. And the same aspect, I mean, this is the biggest thing for me, is with the boundaries of people that treat you a certain way, and you think that like you're just kind of used to it because that's just the way it's always been, or people have treated you that way so many times that you think like, okay, that's just normal. But when you have this thrown at you and you realize how valuable your life is, your boundaries get a lot firmer. That like, no, you can't talk to me that way. No, you can't treat me that way. Like, that's not okay. No, I don't want you in my circle because it's just not good energy. It's so much easier to say no to things as a healthy thing, to say no to things. And to create the boundaries is like you're creating this new life for yourself. What do you want those things to look like? Your family, your friends, your job, exercise. What does all that look like in this new little life that you're creating for yourself when you know that the cancer is gone? Things are easing up. My Luprons are done. My Zemetas, I still have 2 more to go, but in the grand scheme of things, they're only every 6 months. So like, I don't really count that. But I'm on the other side of things now where like, I don't consider myself in recovery anymore. I feel like I've recovered for the most part. And like now I'm creating this thing that's the rest of my life. And what I want that to look like. And the boundaries are like, I have this thing that I'm creating. It has gold or red sparkly things on it. I have this thing that I'm creating. And I'm protective of it because I'm protective of me. And the boundaries that I put up on the outside are like if there's negative energy here, like, nope, this is what I'm creating. You are not allowed to come in with your little negative vibes here. This here is what's golden to me. This is my life. This is what I'm making this look like. And your other shit on the outside has no place in here. If you want to be in here, then like, you know, there's things that you need to do to be able to earn the right to be in here. And the negative energy or the putting you down or the insults or the dismissiveness or whatever it is, they don't belong in here. This is what you're holding sacred now. Like, yes, you've had this other life before all this shit happened to you. And, you know, whatever. Your decisions are what they were. Life turned out the way that it did. And with that get out of jail free card comes this opportunity to create this. And create what you want things to look like. And it sucks that it takes something like cancer to kick you in the ass and be like, what do you want this to look like? Not like, well, this one's telling me I should do this, and this one's telling me I should do this. No, what do you want this to look like? What are you going to put into this? Who are you going to have in here? And who's going to be staying away? And what boundaries you're going to put on the outside to keep this thing solid and golden and precious, because this is your life right here that you get to put together with your 52-year-old dark hair. But great cheekbones. You gotta find that good. And as hard as it is, if you have to write it down, if you have to vlog, if you drew a picture of your little circle and what you're putting in it, whatever you have to do, there's side effects. There's still, like, as I'm saying that, like, I can feel my fingers swelling, and as I'm getting close to needing my next Zemeta, my joints just get really stiff. But you get to choose. You get to choose. Like, you fought hard, and you're still here, and you have this like new reimagined life that you get to choose, that you get to create. And you can't say, well, no, because blah, blah, blah. Well, no, because blah, blah, blah. No, it's your choice. It's your life. Whatever else is going on around it, like, you still have choices. So what you have control over, that's what you use to create this. And is it going to happen overnight? No. Is it going to happen in a year? Maybe not. It took me almost 3 years to get to where I am to even make this thing. Because, I spent so much time like, nope, that's what's not in my little circle thing, that now finally after all this time, I'm like, okay, what do I want in my little circle thing? And you don't have to have all the answers. And I'm sure there'll be some fluidity to it too. But those boundaries are really important, because you get your one life. And I don't want to say fortunately, that's not strong enough of a word, but I got a second chance at life when I beat cancer. And nothing's going to fuck that up. I get to restart. I get to restart. So I will carry that into the new year. And it's funny, like, as I stop talking, just like, if you listen, there's no sound other than me talking. And while I do get lonely, like being an empty nester and stuff, it's like right now, there's just peace. Like, my Christmas tree's like plugged in. Like, the angels there looking at me. It's just very peaceful right now. It took a lot of drama to get me here, especially particularly to my apartment after the flooding and stuff. And I'm by far not, like, I haven't, like, those cookies I just dropped on the floor, like, the pans I used to have to make cookies, they only have them at Bed Bath & Beyond. The Bed Bath & Beyond closed. I hear they're reopening. I tried different cookie sheets, and the cookies did not come out like what they usually do. So it's kind of funny that it's like on the floor, out with the old and with some new. Maybe I need to just make a different kind of cookie. I don't know. But it's quiet and it's peaceful. And I know that, like, my son comes home tomorrow, and the day after that, both my kids will be here, and we'll make other kinds of cookies. And that's the life that I'm creating now. This life of peace and joy and love, which kind of ties in with Advent. But that's what I'm creating. So I'm glad that I did my airing of non-grievances, my earrings of joy. I don't know. I'll come up with some catchy name when I put this on. And I said I wasn't going to go an hour, but what makes me happy is that my joy vlog is, I'm pretty sure, longer than my grievances one was. It's about damn time. So I encourage you to think about what you want. Not even think about, just make your life what you want it to be. Stop living out of obligation and make your life what you want it to look like. That's the key. That's the key. All right, till next time, everyone. Bye.